Okay, so it says we're live, everybody. If you can hear us, welcome to episode 19 of Rant Café. We were just trying to get into the stream. However, there was no start broadcast option button in the Google Hangouts. So we've been trying to figure out, we've been restarting the Google Hangouts over and over again. I'm here with Cyanide Blizzard. What's up, bro?
YouTube will not keep us down.
Yeah, so basically, I opened the Google Hangouts, but I did not have an option to go live. It was as if I was a guest on my own channels. So that is the technical difficulty with the whole thing, and I apologize for that. But I guess we are live now. Are we live on the appropriate? Do we know that, Cyanide?
We look good. It looks good.
So it's the link I actually linked. It didn't change.
I actually went to the page, so I didn't actually test the initial link. But let me double check the code here. On the fly, on the spot.
In the chat. Where are you?
3D action. Chat, drop us the line.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're on the right link. I think we're just like randomly live, right? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a different link.
So do you have this link? Do you see it somewhere? Sorry, everybody. Bear with us, please.
Because, yeah, I like the one that you hosted there 13 minutes ago that is still waiting for Anime Uproar.
So which link are we on now, then? The new one, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess the new one didn't post here, so...
Okay, there we go. Everyone in the chat, sorry again about this.
I'm gonna tweet it out.
Yeah, tweet out the new link. Basically, guys, what happened was the initial podcast, so we had to create a new event. So now it's a different link. Be talking about what's your anime fan be talking about is essentially the whole craze nowadays with a fantasy anime, being transported into another world. So like No Game No Life, like ReZero, there's a bunch of very similar anime coming out again this year. So we want to talk about that whole, what's the obsession with these types of anime, and then about our anime fantasies in general and why anime fantasies appeal to us so much.
Definitely hyped for this topic. Fantasy anime is probably my go-to. It was my big staple when I first started getting into anime, so really thrilled to discuss this. As a result, I do apologize. I kicked everyone else off. Bryn, Macklenot, Briggs, I told to get lost. I beat up Tony, and then I forced him to go to Ghost in the Shell. Kept trying to get him to go to it. He didn't want to go to it, and I said, "You're going to it," and he's like, "Okay, fine." So
yes, yeah. So basically, it's just me and Sam. Well, I don't know. We might get Mac and Anime Recon is supposed to be here, but now that we've had the link confusion, I'm gonna have to give them the new link. So we'll see what's happening, guys. Again, sorry, bear with us. I see that we're getting more viewers, so some of you guys have figured it out. Could you please, someone on Discord, Anbu, or someone, hashtag everyone with this new link and delete the other one, and just let everyone know that we have to switch the links, please. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was just weird, guys. Basically, the first one we created, we could not, there was no option to start the broadcast. Like, we could not go. So I created a separate event altogether, and it was crazy mess.
yeah, that was pretty intense, I gotta say, because we even created another one and it still didn't work. So yeah, we are working tirelessly to bring you Rant Cafe.
Rant Cafe, the show must go on. The show must go on.
Absolutely. So I gotta say, I'm actually really glad you brought up being trapped in a fantasy world, because it's really interesting how that's caught on. My first exposure to that was, and I think some other people might say this as well, was with Dot Hack, where this young gentleman through the video game gets into this game with a friend of his, Orca, and his friend ends up getting data drained, which results in his friend being in a coma, and he goes on this adventure to find out what's going on. All the while, you know, these continued instances are occurring and so forth. Very, very character-driven, very story-driven, very, very grindy as well. But it was really fascinating, and the world was immensely interesting. So, you know, when Sword Art Online came out, initially I overlooked it because I was like, oh, so it's just dot hack again. But Sword Art Online massively exploded, and we've seen a few shoots off from that type of genre where No Game No Life, ReZero, Konosuba. So it's especially in cases of like Konosuba in comparison to ReZero, they're very actually kind of similar in story-wise, except Konosuba is the comedic version of that as opposed to being very dramatic and negative. But it's so fascinating. It's so interesting seeing these shows, these materials, seeing them crop up, seeing where the fantasy genre is going to go from here, because we know it's going to shift. We know that's going to happen. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon has kind of shown a bit of that shift, and we've seen a little bit of that in some other things. So excited. I'm rambling. I'm going to stop.
No, it's good because I don't know what I'm doing with all this technical stuff, but yeah.
Well, by all means, I'll keep going then. So
yeah. So tell me about Konosuba. I have not watched it yet. Is it also being transported into a fantasy world, or is it just a fantasy world?
So the thing is, the show follows Sato Kazuma, and he dies, and that's all we know is he died, and he's sitting in this blank room, and in front of him is this beautiful young woman, absolutely gorgeous, and he's sort of awestruck. And little does he realize that not everything is as it seems with it. Hilarious antics ensue, and he ends up finding himself in a situation where he can go to this other world, and if he beats the Demon King, he can have a wish granted. So it's like, oh, fantastic, this is great. And except it's like nothing is really what it seems. Everyone is very, very inherently flawed. The goddess, we find out, is very childish. She's very, very immature. Sometimes she can act a little benevolent-like, but mostly she's just crazy. There's a goth lolly-ish character, Megumin, who acts very chunibyo, as loves explosions as well, so she's largely worthless. And of course, the masochistic crusader Darkness, who was a giant masochist. So no, all these characters are inherently flawed, and it's sort of the antics that build around that. But it still very much delves into, I guess you could say, traditional fantasy cliches, and also playing with them as well. So it's kind of a nice spin on that in terms of it. Very comedy driven. So
yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Konosuba, and I've heard a lot of people praising it, and then some people kind of like going against the grain, saying it's actually just moe trash, whatever. But I haven't seen it yet. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you recommend it, because yeah, I've heard good things about it, but I just haven't gotten around to seeing it. I did get around to seeing No Game No Life recently. I like it. Did you enjoy No Game No Life?
I like the premise of No Game No Life. I like the background art of No Game No Life. I actually did not terribly care for No Game No Life. I just wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but it's a very visually striking show, though.
Yeah, like my issues, guys, with No Game No Life, and several people recommended in one of the streams for me to watch it. And my issue with it was all the lolly bait, emoto bait. It was so blatant and in your face. The fan service too. It was just so blatant. It was so nonsensical. It wasn't like done in a cool way, like Kill a Kill, for example, where it's like they have to wear the least clothes possible because otherwise the fibers will take over their body. So they have like a cool way to give you the fan service. This was just kind of like so over the top. And also the siblings, Shiro and Sora, they're always 12 steps ahead of any normal person. So whereas if in the Death Note L versus Light battle, when one of them gets an upper hand on the other, you know why they did, right? Because it's like a chess match, and you see they might be a step ahead, but then you're like, oh, I see how they did that. With Sora and Shiro, they're so far ahead all the time that it's almost they are basically there's no way to defeat them, because it's like they are superhuman compared to everyone else. Like, it's just not a that to me felt contrived. I don't know.
And that's the thing is, there's another show called Problem Children Are From Another World, or Coming From Another World, which is also a fantasy show. And my biggest issue with that is what I like to call the OP character. The problem is, and especially as a writer, you know this as well, if there are no stakes or no tension, you don't really care about the characters or what's going on. And the problem is that there's no stakes or tension in any of the games in No Game or No Life, because they're never going to lose. We know that. Now, you may be thinking, well, in most, epic shonen series that are released, they always win in there, come on, isn't that the same thing? Well, no, there's tension and drama that's established, but in these, I equate it to Final Fantasy VII. The differences between Cloud and Sephiroth. You play as Sephiroth for a brief period of time, but it establishes exactly how powerful he is, and then you realize he's the main villain of the game, so you, the audience, go, oh fuck, oh shit, I have to fight this guy, he's going to kick my ass. The problem is having main characters that are like that, you lose most of the stakes, and there really doesn't become any. Nothing challenges them, nothing even remotely comes between them and the objective. They're going to win. It's already a predetermined outcome. So watching the process becomes boring because you already know the answer.
And it's like you can't follow it. You can't see, oh, I see how they did that. It's like they're so far ahead in No Game, No Life that you're just like, what? Like, how could they have foreseen this? Like, there is no way a human with that amount of information could have done that. So that's why it feels kind of cheap to me. By the way, I want to welcome everyone in the chat. We have the anime dude saying that his fantasy is 3 maids, 1 punch. I don't know what that is, bro. I don't know what that is, but welcome to the chat. And I hope you get the help you need. No, I'm kidding, kind of. We have Spooky. I haven't seen you in a while, Spooky. What's up? We have Ladiga, Dark Knight Sonata, Soul Maka, Ryan Fu, XXX, full 14. So he's down for the fantasy. Anbu is here, of course. A lovely Tsundere, Death Charge, Omega, Zakman. Yeah, welcome, guys. Silver Elf is in there. Hunter Valley, Sassy Simone Smith. Hey, yeah. So we had some technical difficulties earlier. We had the wrong link up. The initial link was not working, so we had to. If you're just joining us, to let you know what the confusion was. Basically, we had one link up, and then we couldn't launch the stream. It wouldn't work, so then we had to make a separate link and get everyone from that chat into this chat. So, yeah, it was crazy, but we're here. We're here with Cyanide Blizzard and myself, and we're discussing anime fantasy shows, particularly anime fantasy shows where you're launched into another world, a fantasy world. And Cyanide, you actually mentioned this earlier. I thought of this when you mentioned it, because you said the stakes, about stakes. And then I was thinking, it's one thing to ask in this world in which we live, what kind of power would you have? And what if you had a special power, what would you do with it? However, about the stakes thing, if you are launched into another world, you're sent into another world that you don't know anything about, you have nothing there that you connect to, it's even real for you. Or like, let's say you go to a fantasy world like Subaru does, and then you get certain special powers or whatever, but it's not the same stakes as if it was your own world where all your attachments are, all the people you care about, stuff like that. It's almost kind of like that. The fantasy is the carefreeness almost of it, the unattached, I don't care what happens kind of deal.
No, that's actually a very good point. If obviously if there's nothing there, that's actually really interesting, because that was. And I don't want to talk about issues here. I'm going to talk about positive things as well. I promise I don't hate all anime like my co-host does, Draconis March. He's just a very negative man. So no, one of my problems with Overlord for the first episode is the main character is essentially trapped in this world, and realistically, as people, if there is a massive change in our lives, we'll freak out. We just will. That's human instinct too, you know. So being trapped in something that's unfamiliar and something that's out of our control, we will panic. And he doesn't actually panic or freak out. There's no real moments of, you know, oh gosh, what should I do to get out of here? There's just like this real quick adjustment to being trapped in the world and being like, you know, that's okay. And I'm like, no, nobody's fine with that. Nobody's okay with it. It's, you know, referencing Konosuba, that's actually really interesting where he's dead and it's played up in a comedic manner. And he's embarrassed because the way that he's embarrassed because of the way that it's happened and the way that Aqua is describing it, and she's making fun of him. He's humiliated. It's really amusing to watch. But I feel that for most series, like with Dot Hack, Kite's main objective is to find out what happened to his friend Orca, and he's on an adventure to find out with that. You know, it's usually in most cases it's to find out what's wrong and how he can get out of there. Kirito, you know, his main objective is to, you know, okay, well, I know this is how the game works. I need to get myself strong enough because the first person that beats this, you know, they'll release everyone from this. So I just need to survive. So, you know, we kind of established some of that. I don't think that Sword Art Online does a very good job of fully immersing you in that aspect, but they establish it, which is really nice. You know, it's Shiro getting thrusted into the whole fate aspect, the whole Holy Grail Wars. You know, it's sort of surreal to him until he's actually immersed in a possibility of death. And it's just, it's sort of things change. And that's the thing for me is that even if it doesn't necessarily start off with it, if it builds up to it over a period of time, or if it's slowly established, but I mean, still established at a decent point, then I think that's acceptable when you first go into a world, even if you don't have it right away. What would you say?
I would say before I get into that Amin is in the chat, and he said that Anime Snob is the greatest YouTuber of all time. And by the way, he has Chibi in his, because in one of 100 likes, I will keep Chibi as my avatar for like a year. So now yes, Chibi is out there for like a year. So yeah, good work there, bro. And Crobat Gawk wants to be noticed. I refuse to notice you, Gawk. No. See, that was irony. That was ironic.
Oh,
yes, but what I was gonna say is, I feel like a lot of these fantasy anime are so popular, and the reason we keep having them, someone being pulled into another world. It's almost like when you look at No Game No Life. It's like they hate the real world because in the real world they're like shut-ins and they don't excel, kind of like in the physical world, but they excel online. So it's almost like some form of fantasy porn, right? Where it's like, oh, well, what if you could use your gaming skills that you have online in another world that rewards that? It's like, or, you know, what if you know, maybe you can't find any girls in this world that like you, but what if you go to a world where, you know, girls love you for no reason whatsoever? And the same thing with Sword Art Online. It's like, well, you're nothing special, you know, in the real world, but you're a good swordsman in a game, and now that game is your world, right? So it's like, to me, it can be done well, but it's rare that it is done well just because it feels so contrived. It feels like, let's just pander to the audience as much as possible about what their fantasies are, and then, you know, give them the fan service, the obligatory, you know, fan service OP protagonists that they can insert themselves into and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it does seem to, you know, become contrived very quickly unless done really well.
Yeah, that's just it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a formula that works. I mean, Sword Art Online has run with it, and they have run incredibly far with that. And I mean, hey, kudos to them. They've made it work, which is great to see. You know, it's always really nice to see that. And that's, I mean, that's sort of a thing too, where it's always nice too when you can deviate from that. When you have a series like Rune Soldier Louis, where a guy's a magician, but he punches everything and he hits them with his wand. Because he's this brute, but he's supposed to be a mage. But he ends up eventually, you know, shining through at the end. Or when you get a character like Orphan, who's somewhat angsty, primarily an asshole and, you know, very anti-character. Bastard's another great example. Dark Schneider, where you get these evil characters, but they're delightful to see because you can still get behind and root for them because they're still fighting for an objective. It's very much the anti-hero aspect, and that's just it. They're developing that character, they're laying it out, and that's like kind of feeding into what you were mentioning there. Is that's sort of my big problem is obviously when you create these blank slates and then give people a chance to plug into, while they are nice, they're generally devoid of character. That doesn't mean that they don't have a character, but it's they're largely created to where you can imprint on them. No game, no life. Oh man, real life is just a terrible video game. You know, it's just it's very cringy if you say it, but it's an aspect that, I mean, at some point in our lives, perhaps in a moment of angst, we have considered that, you know, life's unfair, life's imbalanced, so on and so forth. And so, you know, it's something that people can look at and go, yeah, I can relate to that. I get behind that. So.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like, to me, that's fine if you do it in a way where it's like really funny, where it's it kind of has a message to send about the real world, about escapism, because that's essentially what it is, right? Escapism. But then the question is, should art be only escapism, or should art teach us something more? Should art have some kind of essence that takes us beyond just distracting us from our everyday world and our problems, and actually, you know, teaching us something more in life? So that's kind of my issue with you know, the fantasy anime, like in that sense, because I feel like there has to be more to it. Like there has to be more meat on the bone. Oh, imagine wouldn't it be cool if this was the world we live in? Like and you were the main guy and everybody loved you, kind of thing. Says I should watch Maze the Mega Burst Space. I've never heard of that. Have you heard of that, Cyanide?
What's the name of it again?
Maze the Mega Burst Space.
Mega Space. Can't say I have, unless there's a Japanese name for it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of anime and I've never heard of that before. So.
AZN says it's an older anime title. So what, like 80s, 90s?
Yeah, because I mean, if it's from the 90s, it must be really obscure. I gotta see here.
MC Gia says, have I seen Sengoku Basara? That sounds familiar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just Maze, which is, when it was released in the West, it was just called Maze.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
What's Sengoku Basara? Is there an English name for that? Like, that sounds familiar.
No, I think that's how it was released actually in the West as well.
Well, like I've heard of it, then I probably haven't seen it because
Sengoku Basara, it's primarily Japanese history. I think it's, yeah. So another historical Japanese epic.
Amin says we should watch Technolize.
Technolize, good stuff. So
yeah,
very much more like in the cyberpunk area, though. It starts to drift towards, like, but yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I like cyberpunk. I'm actually, oh, by the way, guys, I'm actually working on a Ghost in the Shell franchise video right now that I plan to have out tonight. And it's basically going to be all you need to know about the Ghost in the Shell franchise without getting into spoilers. So it's going to be talking about all the different adaptations, the things that make the franchise unique and so lastingly popular, that kind of stuff. So look out for that. I'm just putting the finishing touches. After Rant Café, I'm going to go and work on it and get it done, hopefully as soon as possible. Gozen has been slacking off. He's been doing a lot of schoolwork, so he hasn't had time to help me. So I've been on my own, and it's been hard. I haven't been able to do work for me.
See, this is what happens, you know. Meanwhile, Anime Every Day released a Ghost in the Shell video about adapting it to other mediums, like the different adaptations of Ghost in the Shell. And it's like, you know, you're kind of touching on a little bit of that. But clearly, if Gozen was more active, you would have had that video out beforehand.
Oh, of course. Of course. I blame Gozen for everything. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to be talking about different adaptations, going to be talking about what makes this franchise unique, recommendations for similar anime, similar films, that kind of stuff. So again, if you're trying to get into Ghost in the Shell, if you're a bit confused, because actually someone on our Discord server, Sir Ares, actually said that he wants me to make a video like that because he's been confused about the different adaptations of Ghost in the Shell in terms of the chronology, in terms of the continuity. So he kept bugging me to make this video, and I was like, because he was like, yo, the movie's coming out, you should make it, and I was like working on other stuff, but then I was like, finally, yes, fine, I'll make it, but yeah, I'm glad I did. So look out for that later today. And also, yes, Discord server is off the chain, so be sure to join our Discord server if you haven't already. Its link is in the description. Something new is going on all the time, and Cyanide Blizzard there is known as Tablecoon. It is a fantasy world, our Discord, in which Cyanide Blizzard is known only as Tablecoon.
That is absolutely true.
Sometimes Lord Table.
Lord Table on occasion. That is absolutely true.
The anime dude says, I'll always respect Gozen. He's not even watching this, bro. So you're brown nosing. He's not.
Oh, that's delightful.
Dragon Ball Z.
But yeah, no, it's
hello. What's up, bro? Sorry.
What's going on?
Yeah, as you guys can see, we have been abandoned by the rest of the Rant Café crew. It's just me and Cyanide and my hair, which I like to do this with now because I haven't had long hair in a while. But basically, Tony had to cancel last minute because he had the Black Critic guy, because he had other obligations. And the other guys, some of them told me ahead of time, others did not, but they'll hear from me afterwards. So, everyone in the chat, I have something to ask all of you. But don't just say jokes, okay? I get it. I get the jokes you're gonna say. I can already anticipate like Shiro and Sora anticipate everything. I want you to give me a serious answer as to if you could choose a fantasy world to be transported in, what kind of world would it be and why?
Ooh.
And Cyanide, same goes to you, bro.
Fantasy world, what would it be and why? I assume one world we can't combine elements from other worlds. Ooh,
What?
That's a tough call. I assume we can't combine elements from other worlds. It has to be one and one.
Well, you can combine if you'd like, but explain your reasoning.
Okay. I'll go with one here. I'll go with one. That's a tough question. You know, a series that always fascinated me, and especially for the world, was always the whole prospect of being transported into another world. The first two Star Ocean games did a lot of that, where technically they were science fiction driven, but they would be transported to an underdeveloped planet, in which case then the game would switch over to more of a fantasy-based game based upon the setting and so forth of plot progression, which was a nice little merger of the two. And I actually really liked that approach because there was a show called Escaflowne, which merged the two.
I watched it.
You have? Excellent. I've always been fascinated by that world. It's still one of those, I haven't seen it in years, but I still think about it. It's between that world and either the world of Slayers or El Hazard, because I like both of those. I like the way they're both set up. I always like the prospect of magic. Holy cow, Devil the Rebel dropping a bomb.
Devil the Rebel says, Gozen is number one. But he has just donated 20 pounds to the channel, which is crazy. I didn't even know you could donate that much in these things. He's like, everyone always says only $2. Well, not today, haters, not today. P.S. Animac also number one. How can we both be number one? But yeah, thanks, Devil the Rebel. I really appreciate your help, man, and your support for the channel. And Devil the Rebel is also on the Discord, always getting into some fun interactions over there. It's always a pleasure. But yeah, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Don't we appreciate it, Cyanide?
We do. But you know, we'd appreciate more being transported to a fantasy world with beautiful women, which begs the question afterwards. I want to pose this question to you, Annie Mac. From all the fantasy shows you've seen, which one has the most beautiful women in it? As a connoisseur of the ladies yourself.
Wow, no one's ever asked me that, man. Really? Oh.
That's right.
I was gonna say that a fantasy world that I really like from that sort of like that type of perspective is Girls Bravo, because if you've seen Girls Bravo, it's just a stupid ecchi show, right? There's no like, there's nothing too interesting about it. However, in that show there's a world that one of the main characters, one of the love interests comes from, and in that world it's called Siren, I believe, and it's all women.
All women.
And there's like no men or very few men. So then when
so
when the main
very few
goes
men.
there, all the women are like, oh my god, it's a man. And I was just like, well, that's the obvious choice. That's the obvious choice if you want to be transported into a fantasy world. So that is a good option there for beautiful women. I'm gonna have to think about this. But the other thing I was gonna say is, yeah, one thing is, I don't know. I feel like because in this world where we live in now, we have stakes. You know, we have people we care about. We have people we know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I might prefer having like a special power in this world so I can influence this world rather than going to a fantasy world. Because if I was in a fantasy world, I feel like, again, the stakes would not be clear to me. It's like, do I really care about these different people that, you know, I haven't known my whole life, or will I come to care about them in that world? So yeah, I don't know.
No, that's it. That's tough. I mean, that's a big thing we think about. You know, it's when we think about everyday life, especially, you know, if something happens to people we're really close to, you know, it affects us on a very emotional level, and that can shake us to our very core as well. Or we could even be empathetic of it. But obviously, if that bond isn't as significant, of course, you know, the caring isn't as much, which is that's why it's so important for a really strong fantasy series to give us reason to, like when we're going into a story, to develop a bond for the character. We learn about their quirks, their kind of little funny things about them. We see them when they're happy, when they're sad. We learn to find what they're striving for, their personality. And that's, you know, we can become attached to the characters and in a sense create that same bond as well if it's done. But that's the struggle, you know, establishing those steaks, those delicious grade A steaks. Put them on the grill.
Hey, Bryn is in the chat. What's up, Bryn? Good
Bryn!
to see you. She couldn't make it to the stream today because when she saw the title, she was like, "You sick perverts! I'm not gonna be a part of this." No, she had other things to do. But we appreciate you being here in the chat, Bryn. And yeah, man, I'm really struggling now with name some fantasy anime. I'm struggling with the beautiful women in fantasy anime now.
Oh,
and by the way,
beautiful women.
Soul Maka said that he wants that monster musume of fantasy world just
Monster
for
Girls. There you go. I mean, Monster Girls need love too, so you know.
Yeah, he said he wants the waifu harem, like that's what he's into.
I respect that. I mean, obviously, of course, if we're going to talk about beautiful women, a bunch of people have been saying fairy tale, and I can't disagree because there are plenty of attractive ladies. You know, of course, the different route. Oh my goddess.
Mm.
So I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, the ecchi
very
ones are very like ripe for the ladies.
Always ripe with plenty of female material. Even when we go to some of the more modern shows, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Sword Art Online? You know, we're getting into that. So, of course, you know, if we want to talk about, oh boy, you know, what about them boys? Bryn just said. Ooh.
Yeah, well, why aren't you here, Bryn? Like, that is not my topic, believe me, when I tell you that is not something that I can help you with. Sorry. So back to the ladies. I guess if the world of Code Geass is considered a fantasy world, even though it's like an alternate our world, but with supernatural stuff, I would definitely want to be there. I mean, yeah, the war and stuff, but also Valletta and Colin and, you know, Millie and Cornelia. I don't know, man. It might be worth it. The fear of death might be worth it.
The fear of death might be worth it. The whole world may go to. Well, see, there's another aspect to think of. What fantasy world would you not want to be a part of? Well, let me tell you, the world of Akame ga Kill is pretty bleak. I don't know if I'd want to be a part of that. That's,
Zeld's mentioned High School DxD, but I don't think he meant for the bleak aspects.
Well, actually, that could apply for the bleak aspects, because in High School DxD, those girls are only around one guy. They're not around anybody else. So it's all those characters are focused solely around him. They don't exist in the world. Like in Fairy Tail, there's all these beautiful women. And though they interact with the character, they also go off and do their own thing as well. Whereas High School DxD, man, unless you're the main guy, you're screwed. It's like there's a few other shows that are like that as well.
Sassy Simone asks, what about Attack on Titan? And no, even if they had like 10 Mikasas, I would not want to be part of that world, man.
Yeah,
that is rough. That is a rough world to be a part of. My Hero Academia is a less rough world to be a part of. You could still get your monster girls. You could get your giant girls. And
yes,
yeah,
and you'd have superpowers.
Possibly. Yeah, and you could get superpowers. And there's like a association of heroes that like protects the world, to an extent. So it's kind of like, so it kind of like offers you both the fantasy and the sort of kind of grounded real world feel.
Absolutely, very true. That's a great point to bring up there. So,
okay, Yuri on Ice and Free, Simone, are not fantasy anime. Okay.
There could be a fantasy to them. I mean, have you seen the guys in Free? Oh,
I see one
like
every
that
day when I
exists
look at the
anywhere.
mirror, Cyanide. Every day I look at the mirror, I see a guy from Free.
Oh, not all of us can be lucky enough to be born Animac, okay?
Yeah.
For every one Animac, there's a million of us where it's just like, yeah, you know what? No.
Bro, Devil the Rebel, what's going on, buddy? What is happening? What is happening?
Oh.
Are you malfunctioning? Are you a robot? What's happening here? Devil the Rebel just donated 30 pounds to say no more static from Gozen if he gets a new mic. Now it's 100, so Mac gets 0.23 from this. They don't call me the first donator for nothing. Love you, no digit. What is happening, first donator? What is happening between you and no digit? Find out next time on another episode of the Discord. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Crazy support over here. Hope you didn't rob a bank.
Going to build the empire, the anime uproar empire.
Yeah, the empire is being built, but like, I hope you didn't rob a bank. I hope these funds are from a legitimate source. But of course, much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Always appreciated.
I will use that money to continue working out on my abs.
Hey, this Speedo isn't gonna, put itself on by itself. I gotta look good. Gotta get ready for the next upcoming anime convention where you will be cosplaying. I heard that Animac, you and Gozen are going, as well as Macklenot. I know you're doing a free cosplay as well. So
I'm gonna be free of clothing. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely free of clothing. Free to live life how you see fit.
I think I don't know. I might cosplay as something, but I don't know if I'm gonna cosplay as the guys from Free because of all the legal issues with wearing a Speedo in public and such, and such. But yeah, looking forward.
Okay.
Looking forward to Anime North, guys. Macklenot is gonna be there. Briggs from Old Anime is gonna be there. Vector Maximus from the Discord is going to be there. And of course, Gozen is going to be there. So we're going to be hanging out there together. And I proposed a Code Geass related panel as well to host a panel for Code Geass at Anime North. I am waiting to hear back to see if it's going to get confirmed. But if it is, then we're going to have a special Code Geass panel at Anime North this end of May in Toronto. And we're going to have Mac and Briggs and everybody there. It's going to be crazy. So we will let you know. If we get that confirmed, we'll make a special video to inform you. That would be crazy. Wouldn't that be crazy, Cyanide?
That would be delightful. Would it make it even more crazier is if you went as the main character from Log Horizon and then constantly adjusted your glasses because there's an emotion that he can do in game. Type adjust glasses, and he adjusts his glasses. It was a meme for a short period of time. I think you should do that. But it requires you to dye your hair, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be dyeing my hair. I hear it ruins the quality. I don't know. Or
yeah.
I could go for the emo light look though from the new Death Note movie.
Ooh, the new Death Note movie. Oh,
see, Death Note, that is an interesting thing. Like, instead of being in a fantasy world, would you want to live in your own world but have a Death Note or something like that, right? Like that's a cool proposition. Because it's like, what would you do with a Death Note? Would you do nothing? Because you're just a good person. You would never kill someone who doesn't deserve it or that you don't know personally. Or would you be like, oh, these politicians are gonna get what's coming to them or something like that? Right?
I just raided the stream.
There's Recon no Pico.
Okay,
it's a Recon raid.
Have stuff to say, which I completely missed the stream because I had other plans. So I'm so fucking sorry.
Well, Recon, you got to tell us if you have other plans. You said you're down, bro.
I know, but something came up. I'm so sorry, bro.
Yeah, Marsha from Brady Brunch said that as well. She's like, I'm sorry, something suddenly came up.
Really?
I know that's just an excuse.
I was surprised that there's only 2 of you. How many people were supposed to actually be in the stream?
Well, we also were hoping Mac and BCG could come, but BCG had to cancel last minute. He had something come up important, and Mac hasn't gotten back to us. Like, he works, but he said he thought he might be able to make it, but we haven't heard back from him. But yeah, next time, Recon, let me know at a reasonable time, bro, if you can't.
So for the entire stream, it was just you 2.
Yeah,
correct.
Wow.
And yet people are still here and watching. And Devil the Rebel donated 50 British pounds to this stream, bro. That's how much he likes the 2 of us.
50 British? Yeah, that's sick. That is sick. 50 fucking British pounds.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
Recon, you gotta do a live reaction to this stream before you came in.
Live reaction.
Upload a video called live reaction to the stream. What's happening? It's like most of the time this is kind of boring, but you're like, oh shit, money dropping. By the way, yeah, everyone, hashtag Recon no Pico is in the house.
Recon, just for like not too long though. Jeez.
Okay, then quickly tell us, what's your favorite fantasy world that you would like to be transported to and why?
You pretty much already know the answer, Uproar. I want to see my baby girl Rem. That's where I want to go. I want to go to ReZero, get the girl I want, maybe even a body pillow. That would be nice.
Why do you want a body pillow if you got the girl? I don't.
Well, if I don't get Rem, at least she can give me a body pillow so that I won't forget her. That's at least something that I could have.
I mean, I was thinking that you were going for some kind of threesome there with the body pillow and the girl, but I see where you're going.
Threesome.
What about this? What if you, and would this be weird, if you got together with Rem, right, and you guys got married, and then she realized that you actually have a Ram body pillow in your
Ram
bed?
Body pillow. I bet she would be so pissed. Like, why the fuck would you have a Ram body pillow? I wonder if they do sell Ram body pillows. I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
if there's a body pillow, they'll put something on it. Don't worry.
I mean, I already have currently a Rias Grammary body pillow, but I would love to buy a Rem and Ram. Hug them both when I go to sleep, and maybe do some of that lewd. Well, someone just donated 12 pounds. The Devil the Rebel donated 12 pounds.
Devil the Rebel, what is going on, bro?
62 British pounds.
Jeez.
Where are these pounds coming from? You're losing pounds left and right, bro. What is happening? Wow, craziness, bro. Thanks a lot, Devil the Rebel. I appreciate it. You're a crazy man, but that is why We love and appreciate you.
So
And
here's the thing, Uproar. Where does all that money go? I hope it doesn't go to you.
it goes to body pillows. No, it doesn't. All donations go to supporting the Anime Uproar conglomerate. And one day, we shall own this world.
You shall own the world. Okay. That's good. By the way, did you know that me and Anime Dude are me and the Anime Dude are actually doing something very special that I cannot wait to start.
Oh, what are you guys doing? Tell us.
Oh,
Breaking news right here on Rant Café.
I don't really want to spoil it. I don't really want to tell about it. Really.
Give us the scoop. Give us the scoop. Is it gonna be crazy? Is it gonna be sexual?
It's gonna be something hilarious. I like the plan that he made, by the way. I know you're watching this at the Anime Dude. I can see you in the chat.
He's usually watching this while in class. Apparently.
Oh, really? He has school? Wow.
Yeah.
I bet he told the teacher, "Miss, can I go to the bathroom?" And he just ditched class and watched the fucking stream there in the bathroom.
He apparently does that, yeah, because he's always like, guys, I'm supposed to be running a test right now. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? But, you know, he's a great guy and we love having him here in the stream. So, you know, if he wants to destroy his academic career, then here at Anime Uproar, we approve. But I just want to say that Justin Law said he wants Ram, and Rum. And that sounds like a pretty good Saturday night to me.
Oh, who the fuck is Rum?
RUM.
I assume eventually the third character that will be revealed in the next season of ReZero, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe,
but
possibly.
I'm pretty sure I'm all out of time here. I'm gonna have to leave, but I hope I can make it to the next stream Uproar.
Yeah, well, I hope you can make it too, bro.
Yeah, I promise you. And it's a shake. Like, put your hands on the screen right now and shake.
I'm not gonna touch it. All right, but bro, thanks for joining us, and yeah, next time keep me in the loop.
All right, man. I love you. I'll see you next week. You too, Cyanide. I'm not gonna forget about you, man.
Recon no Pico.
Take it easy, my good man.
Yeah, hashtag Recon no Pico in the chat, boys, and I'll see you all next time. Adios.
Shinpaku. That's what Briggs does, so I had to.
I know what Briggs said. Beautiful.
By the way, Hunter Valley donated $2, saying, "Your Lord is here. Thoughts of 7 Deadly Sins." And yes, 7 Deadly Sins. I've been getting a lot of questions about when the season 2 is coming out. No information yet, but like with Code Geass, like with One Punch Man, like with ReZero, we are checking daily. So as soon as we get any information about a release date for 7 Deadly Sins Season 2 or any of those other anime, we'll make a special video on that. So don't worry. We're not going to not tell you. We're going to make a special video letting you know as soon as there's big news like that. And then we'll also obviously talk about it in streams and all that stuff. But yeah, we will, if there's big news like 7 Deadly Sins Season 2, I'm not even going to wait for a weekly video. I'm going to make a special video right away saying 7 Deadly Sins Season 2 confirmed or release date confirmed or whatever. So don't worry. We are on it. We're going to be on it. And you're going to be the first to know.
If
I have to break into the house of the guy who made the show and tell him, listen, man, when is the release date? I'm going to do it.
That's intense, man. I don't know if you should do that. I got to stop you there. But I got to stop you for a more important reason. Because we got a lovely Sundere dropping a $10, 10 United States dollars. I'm not as rich, but I'm still huggable. Not that I like you or anything. Well, a lovely Sundere, we like you.
Well, that was lovely. More donations, guys. Thank you, lovely Tsundere. And by the way, I've seen lovely Tsundere on the channel for many, many months. Long time. So thank you so much. And yeah, like Devil the Rebel started some crazy shit here today. He started a shitstorm of donations and awesomeness, all going to the fund for me to get awesome free like abs and other things. But yeah, it's really cool. Really appreciate it, Cyanide. See, we managed to get the stream going, and then the people responded. They said, you guys made the show run. Everyone else ditched you. You were here. So you will get our love and support. So thank you. That was lovely. And I appreciate you not calling us Baka there at the end. I thought the Baka was coming, but
there's always the surprise Baka. It's somewhere. So, well, I gotta say, in the future, I'm gonna make sure from now on I kick more of them off. I mean, that hopefully, they'll be able to attend so they can join us and not have me kick them off or do something.
And by the way, Foxion says he's trying to get his friends to watch Code Geass, but they won't listen. Well, yeah, Code Geass is definitely one of the best gateway type anime, one of the best anime overall in terms of like getting into it, because I know it was one of the first animes that I watched. My very first gateway anime was Death Note, and after I watched it, I was like, man, these are not just children's cartoons. This is epic. And after that, I think Code Geass were second or third. But yeah, so I think that getting your friends to watch Code Geass is a good idea. Try to get them into it, and if your friends don't listen, even though if they're being stubborn, even though you're trying, that's their loss, right? So all you can do is do your best and try to do them a favor by having them discover great, interesting shows. If they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. Cyanide, what about you and your friends? Have you been able to get your friends into anime?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Years back, I was really the first person that got into fan subbing and watching anime on the internet. So I remember there was this little show that came out, that was done by the studio called Bones. Show was called Full Metal Alchemist. And I remember burning some episodes onto a CD and going over to my friends saying, hey guys, you got to watch these first couple of episodes. The show might actually be pretty good. That's just it. It varies too. Like, I'm the type of guy who'd buy anything. So I got immediately known by my friends as oh, it's Mike. He buys the perverted shows. I'm like, man, I just watch anything. Who gives a fuck? But that's just it. It's sort of like a job. Like if you're trying to sell someone something, everyone's got their own taste, and it's about figuring out, well, hey, what other shows have you liked before? Or what are you into? And then you try to figure out from there and then recommend shows. Because, you could write down a list of cult classics, but, it doesn't mean they're going to like them at all. So at the end of the day, it's trying to figure out what do they like, what would they enjoy watching, and simply going from there. So, yeah, that's just it. Is sometimes you'll hit it on the nail, and then once you do, you can sort of craft it around there. Sometimes you don't, and it's like, oh, well, whatever. So... But I usually keep my power levels down pretty low. So I wait for someone to talk about anime first, and now I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if you've heard of this show, but you might be interested based upon what you've said. So just casually throw that out there. Very subtly.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Sana, do you remember your gateway anime, or did you just watch them throughout since you started with the younger anime, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and then kept going? Because for me, I stopped. For me, as a kid, I watched Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I kind of stopped because I just assumed, all anime was like that. And it wasn't until Death Note that I realized, no, there's anime aimed for older audiences. But there was a few years in between where I stopped kind of watching anime. What about you? Did you have a similar experience?
It was really interesting because I grew up in an age where cartoons on TV were massively popular, when it was also during a period of time where they were starting to slowly bring over anime, albeit censored. And my gateway was, I remember being in elementary school watching Sailor Moon going, these girls are hot. So
yeah.
that was sort of the big thing, but I didn't realize it was actually anime. So it wasn't until like a few years later where a friend of mine was like, hey dude, you gotta watch this show. It's on Toonami, it's called Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it was when Goku was fighting Captain Ginyu, and I remember being like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, the Frieza arc. The Frieza arc, my favorite.
Yeah, and it was just, that was it. It was like, that was sort of my gateway. I got into it, and then I got into fan subs, and I started buying it, which was, that was a lot of money. But yeah, I've had periods where I haven't watched as much, but I've never necessarily stopped watching it. And that's kind of an interesting point. And it actually kind of ties into something that a lovely Sundere asked, which was, is showing SAO to an anime virgin worth it to get them into anime? And the thing is that what you watch and what you like or dislike is, it's really irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's, being able to share things or talk about them. Of course, obviously, it depends on how you feel about it personally, or how they go about handling their fandom as well, but that's all personal. But getting someone into a show doesn't necessarily mean they'll stick with it. It just depends on how deep that rabbit hole goes. I mean, I've known plenty of friends who, you know, got into anime around the time that Naruto, you know, One Piece, Bleach, when they were the big three were popular, and that's all they watched. But then they got curious, or then they may have checked out something else, or they heard something from a friend, and then they looked into other shows. And I mean, that's sort of how you expand your taste. It just depends on how far you want to go down. But it's like that with music as well, or even books. I'm sure you can attest to that as well, Animac. You know, depending upon how far you go there, you know, depends on what you stop with. Obviously, if, you know, Sword Art Online is the only thing you've watched, well, then yeah. But I mean, as time goes on, the more shows you watch, you may find something that may replace that. Maybe it'll have a fond value to you personally, or maybe, hey, it'll still be your favorite. But, you know, either way, I think it's largely irrelevant, just as long as we can share the hobby together. That's the important thing, is being able to.
And it depends on the person, right? So the one thing I've been meaning to do in terms of like make a video how to get into anime with anime recommendations, because I've been getting a lot of suggestions from people, can you make an anime recommendations video? And I feel like most people that watch our channel already know a lot of anime, so like I would never thought to do it. But maybe it'll be good to do like a how to get into anime type of video for someone looking to get into it, and do it by genre. So something like, oh, so you like Game of Thrones, then you might enjoy these anime. Or, you know, you like House of Cards, you might enjoy these anime. So that kind of stuff, and then give them something that deals with a similar topic and a similar genre. So then just be like a list, because I feel like that would be cool, because it depends on the person, right, that you want to get into anime. So some people really don't like sci-fi. I have friends who don't like science fiction at all. They think it's unrealistic, they think it's stupid. So they don't watch sci-fi, excuse me, live action, so they're not going to watch sci-fi anime. But maybe they like slice of life. Maybe they like you know, something else. Maybe they like high fantasy or something, right? So I think genres are a big thing. Like, try, if you want to get your friend into something, be like, see what they like. Do they like Game of Thrones? Do they like something else? Do they like I don't know, Blacklist, like a thriller? And then tell them, oh, watch Monster or something, right? So see what they like, what kind of genre, and then see if you can find something that fits that genre. So of course, if they like The Matrix, be like, hey, did you know that The Matrix was actually inspired by Ghost in the Shell? You should definitely check out Ghost in the Shell, and you should check out Anime Upper's video on Ghost in the Shell coming later today.
Oh, nice. That's just it, though. I mean, it's, you know, like I spent quite a few years working retail, and that's just it. You know, you craft things based around what people like. And even a short, brief conversation with someone, you can get a good understanding of it. But especially with a friend, that's just it, is, you know, ultimately, you're going to look at, okay, based upon the person, what would they watch? You know, and that's just it. Like, not everyone's going to like the same shows. You know, I got a friend who absolutely detests some of the shows that I love, and we always argue, but it's always in good fun, though. So, you know, we enjoy those type of things. But that's just it. You know, it's finding that thing, and, you know, being understanding if they don't like it or if they detest it. So yeah, it's ultimately, you know, getting into it, though, is great. And I think that'd be a great idea, because yeah, it's for different genres, it's so many different things. I remember the first slice of life I really watched was Gashingen. And I had bought it because it, like a friend of mine that I was talking to online highly recommended it, loved it. And I'm like, oh, cool, you know, this will be interesting to watch. I watched a few episodes and I fell asleep while watching it, because I just, like, slice of life bored me to tears, because my philosophy was, I could go out and live this shit. Why am I wasting my time watching it? But the older I got and the more my taste expanded and evolved, you know, I was able to go back and appreciate it deeper and have a better understanding of it. And that's the thing too, is, you know, like, as in life, our tastes change as we get older.
Yep.
So, you know, that's just it.
Good, very good point. And a lovely Tsundere said that Digibro mentioned in a video that Cowboy Bebop was his gateway anime, if we don't consider My Little Pony an anime. But Cowboy Bebop was his favorite anime, his gateway anime, because he saw it one day, like after midnight on Cartoon Network or something, or Adult Swim. I don't know, I forget where it was. And he just, like, couldn't believe how cool this anime was, how, like, clearly geared for a mature audience it was. And yeah, I think Cowboy Bebop is a good gateway anime. Again, it's science fiction, So some people who are turned off by science fiction right away will be like, whatever. But if you have an open mind, it is definitely an excellent anime. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the classics. It has some of the best characters, some of the best character interactions, such a cool world, so gritty, inspired by like cyberpunk and science fiction and just a Western, like it's like a space Western. It's also cyberpunk, but it's also, you know, so many things. So I definitely absolutely love that show.
Yeah, no, that was the same thing with me. I loved Cowboy Bebop because I mean that was just it. Is at the time it was for a TV show, it's remarkably well animated. The dub for it was tremendously done as well. It was really well handled by Bandai. And yeah, it was what I looked for in a show. And that's sort of the thing with, I mean, the thing with taste is it's fine to be disappointed. It's fine to give people guff, but it's sort of like where it's like you almost get to that anime snob after a while where it's like, back in my day, it's anybody could do that, you know. I mean, as people after a while, we become deadened to change and we get stuck in our ways and we prefer certain shows in certain periods. And it's hard not to default to other shows for obvious reasons or just from other reasons as well. But yeah, I mean, that's just it. Is there are some that are really nice staples and you can get people to go back. But I also have known people, like I know someone who won't watch an anime series before 2000 because it's ancient to him and he refuses to do it. It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard, but it's like, do your thing by all means. I mean, you know, that's just it. Like some people may have ridiculous things, but that's the beauty of people. You know, we all have our own little quirks, and that makes us who we are. We're beautifully flawed.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point that you brought up because some people say, you know, like snobs, like retro always wins, right? So he likes only retro. Some people don't want, like you said, don't like to watch retro. The different animation throws them off. They think it's antiquated. You know, they don't like School Rumble, for example, because the animation is not as good as a modern high school anime, right? But it's like you should be open-minded. You should like both retro and you should be able to accept certain good anime like modern anime like One Punch Man, for example. You know, Snob hates One Punch Man because it's just one joke, you know, and he thinks it's just one joke over and over again. But I think it works. I think it's funny. You have to be open-minded. You have to accept it, the humor and all that stuff. And so I think he's not open-minded enough, and someone only watching new anime, only watching current anime is not open-minded enough either. So yeah, that's I think you have to have a balance. And I try to have a balance where I watch some ongoing current anime, some recent anime, and some, you know, classics, always having classics, you know, some anime I rewatch all the time, like Gurren Lagann, Clannad, whatever, because Cowboy Bebop I've watched like 3 times because I feel like they're just such classics. By the way, Soul Maka was saying that Devil the Rebel has orange level quality because of his support for our channel. And yeah, I agree. People were asking me in the Discord before, it's like, do you guys have a Patreon? And no, I never made a Patreon. I never thought people would want to donate and care enough to donate. So the fact that you guys do and that you did is just crazy. It's amazing. And I'm shocked and surprised, but definitely motivates me to keep going harder and stronger until one day we rule the world. We do the Kira thing, except we win. But we are not a cult, though. We are
not a cult at all. #. So no, and that's so beautiful about taste. Like that's what I love. Like for what I do, like I absolutely love hearing other people's opinions. I don't care about my opinions. I know what my tastes are in a show. I don't like talking about it. If I have to, I will, but I don't care about that. I want to hear what somebody else thinks because I love being able to see a show from somebody else's eyes. It's like, hey, Ryan, you know, it's like, what do you think of Love Live? You know, what are you a fan of it? Do you like it, dislike it? You know, Amelia, you know, what are your thoughts on how DX handled his most recent Code Geass Akito the Exiled video? You know, I want to know what other people think about things because I love getting that insight. It rounds you out as a person and it allows you to expand your viewpoints. Like I can talk more in depth or more detailed on things. I love doing it as a reviewer, and I especially love it now because it creates so many great conversations. Because for me, yeah, that's just it. I want to know how you feel. I want to know. Yeah, I did it sarcastically, Ryan, because I know of your avatar. So but that's just it. Is it's about knowing how someone feels about something or what their thoughts are, and that's sort of like with fantasy. It's just fantasy in the 20 years I've been watching various fantasy shows is changed drastically. So, that's just it. Is with all that change, it's what do I like better? What do I dislike about the change? What do I like? What does somebody else feel about that change? Obviously, of course, tying in from starting off in a fantasy show to going on this epic adventure, to the more anti-hero aspects, to being trapped in a world, to adding more video game-esque components to it. So, yeah, it's all those different aspects that just really make it delightful because it expands. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Anbu in the comments, I think what he meant, he was referring to the thumbnail that we made regarding the DX fan video. But yeah, I wanted to ask you.
I love that thumbnail.
Cyanide, did you watch the Akita the Exile video?
Yes, I did.
Like
I did not expect that.
I was watching it and I thought he was gaslighting me the whole time. I was like, at one point he's gonna be like, I was just fucking around, like this is trash. But no, he literally gave Akito the Exiled a better review than I would have as a Code Geass fanboy, as they like to say, because I thought Akito the Exile had serious issues with writing and character development, but DX fan liked it. And he even said some stuff that I didn't think of that I think make a good point for why the show is better than I was giving it credit for. So yeah, I have to admit that was
of course, everyone then thought that you were giving him guff, and then you went back on it because you were found out. You've been found out. You were discovered, so you treated it like a joke. But too bad, your joke was unfunny, and so was your face.
Yeah, DX fan comment section.
Comment sections are interesting.
For people who watch a guy who's always, who's playing a persona and making jokes and satire all the time, they have no sense of humor. Not all of them, of course, but some of them have no sense of humor. Like, I made a joke saying, what is happening, DX? How could you give a Code Geass thing a good review? Did I break you? Did I break you? With my response video. Obviously, an over-the-top joke. Meanwhile, people started freaking. Of course, you didn't break him. You didn't break him. Why are you so butthurt? Why are you so butthurt? Don't touch my DX. Don't touch him. Don't touch him, bro. And so on.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Like, I do first impressions that are primarily satire driven, and I'll give my personal thoughts at the end. And it's even with that, like, there are points where I'll feel I'm being really obviously sarcastic or really obvious that I'm joking around with it, but people will still take it seriously. So as a content creator, it's weird because you try to find a way of like, how can I make this obvious without like being deliberate? So it's a challenge. So
yeah, like the thing is, you can be as over the top crazy as you want. Someone somewhere will take you literally, and that's on the internet. That's the problem. It's like, and then you have to explain, no, I was just joking. They're like, oh yeah, now you're saying you were joking because you looked stupid. So now you're saying you're joking. It's like, no, man, I was clearly joking. I don't think that. It's like, no, I win the argument. Who cares? Like, fun times on the internet. But yeah, a few people in the chat mentioned that we're so close to 10K, guys, 10,000 subscribers, and that is crazy. We are less than 100 away from 10K, and that is awesome. And I want to thank all you guys for your support, for being here, for just creating this awesome community here and on the Discord. It's just such a pleasure. It's so much fun to of course, meeting cool people like Cyanide, aka Table Coon, and our other YouTube friends who this week abandoned us, but we still love them. And all of you guys being able to interact with you and just kind of like creating this community where we can talk about our favorite anime. We don't have to worry about some people saying, oh, I don't like anime because anime sucks, and they don't give it a chance because they're just ignorant. Like, we created a community where we can talk and share our thoughts and share our theories, and then sometimes turn those theories into videos and all that stuff. And it's awesome. It's such a pleasure, and I can definitely see why so many people do YouTube full time, because it is just a blast to me to be a part of this community, to interact with you guys, to make videos. Yeah, I don't know, Cyanide, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's like that's my favorite part about doing this. I don't have a terribly large amount of free time usually, but I try to make as much of it as I can because I enjoy the community. You know, I enjoy being able to interact with people. I like being able to hear their opinions. I think that the Black Knights break room has a fantastic group of individuals there. The people that show up for Rant Cafe are lovely people. So all of you are lovely. Give yourselves a hug. Or have someone give a hug to you. I think you should do that maybe, but don't commit any crimes in the process. That'd be bad.
And if anyone is going to be at Anime North, I will hug you all personally.
There you go. Confirmed free hugs from Annie Mac at Anime North.
And especially from Gozen. Gozen likes to be just like randomly hugged without even being warned. So, you know, because I know he won't watch this, feel free to just approach him and hug him and shit.
There you go. Confirmed. We'll organize a flash mob to hug Gozen. He'll be hugged from all sides. You'll be left hurtled in the corner, crying.
By the way, Amin, did you change your profile picture from Chibi? Because you said for like a year you were going to have that. So did you just betray your promise? And Master of Puppets says, let's get to 10,000 in this stream. I don't think that's going to happen, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. I really do.
That is great. I love it. 10K hype. Hard to believe, my good man. I've known you for a short period of time, and in that short period of time, you have grown tremendously.
Yeah, and a few months ago, we would not have imagined that we would grow so fast, but we struck a chord, I think, with a lot of fans of Code Geass, Seven Deadly Sins, those kinds of animes that don't have many of the mainstream YouTubers talking about them because, you know, they like to get on the hype on your Attack on Titans and you know, your really popular anime, whereas I make videos about anime that I really enjoy. So that's my big thing is, and I'm sure you would agree with this, Cyanide, it's like you don't want to make videos that you don't like making because you think it's going to be hype. I like making videos on something like Code Geass, which I've always loved. It's one of my top 3 favorite anime. And then when they announced the second season, I didn't even get in on it right away. I was like a few weeks after it was announced, we made a video about why Lelouch is still alive, which I've been meaning to make for a long time. But then I was like, okay, this is extra incentive to make it. And then people really liked that video, so I made more. And that's how things started to take off. And that's what I love, making videos about anime that I actually enjoy. I would not want to be making videos about anime that I don't like just because they're popular right now. And I think people see that. People see that what we're doing, we love doing it. We love interacting. I love spending so much time on Discord, and people are like, why is Animac here all the time? Like, I didn't think you would be here all the time. It's like, because I love it, man. I live there. I love it. It's a pleasure to interact with you guys, get your feedback on previous videos, make new videos better because of your feedback. Like, that's what I do this for. It's for love. It's not for like popularity or anything along those lines.
Nah, man, that's just it. You know, it's finding that passionate crowd, and I mean, like, I have to contest, no matter what size you get, you never forget when you're a smaller channel, and for those people who are really encouraging or supportive of your content, and who stuck with you as well. And, you know, a lot of people will come and go, and maybe someday you might lose them as well, but you never forget those earlier parts. You never do. Like, I've talked with a lot of different YouTubers about that of various different channel sizes, and they all remember that. You know, everyone remembers that, and we all are here to support each other as well. You know, whether we're YouTubers or not, it's the little things, and that makes us want to be more active. That inspires us to do so. We'll find a little bit more ways to find more time to do it. We'll work a little bit harder for you. We'll do just a little bit more because we're grateful to you and we're appreciative. And more importantly, we want you to be entertained. We want you to feel like you have a place where you can talk with other people, you know, to whether it's develop a community or simply just to escape from the world for a little bit to maybe laugh or to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole thing. Like, you know, some YouTubers like to make those videos that are like, you know, just a bunch of top 10 lists or like interesting facts about like whatever the trending topic is. And they don't really interact with their, you know, subscribers. They don't do live streams. They don't answer comments, but they get good views because it's stuff that people watch passively. Like, so, you know, you're sitting on the couch, you're bored. Oh, I'm going to look at this, you know, top 10 haunted places or whatever it is. But to me, it's always been like, no, I want to have a community. I would rather have less subscribers, but subscribers who are active and I can actually talk to and engage with, and have them make me be a better YouTuber by giving me feedback, than, you know, have a bunch of views but no one really cares. You know, if I do a live stream and I want to talk to them, no one really shows up, because like, then that's not what we're here for. We're here for that, you know, that haunted house, bro. Like,
hey, don't knock it. It's a good video, man. Have you seen number 6? Scary stuff. Jeez. So
I don't know.
No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you very much, good sir. Yeah, it's, I mean, that's just it. You know, it's, we appreciate that, and that's what we want to do. We want to produce content that you enjoy. It's, I mean, not everyone can strike it big, but there's a lot of ways that we as content producers could do things to appeal to a larger audience, we'll say. But you know, obviously we want to do what we want to do, but we also want you to be entertained. We want you to enjoy yourself and to feel part of it. You know, it's, hey, we do it for you.
Yeah, true. And Nana said our Discord is not a Discord, it's a family. And I agree. And in that family, Nana is that one cousin, when she drinks a little too much, you never know what she's gonna say. And you're just like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? But that's okay.
Can't wait. I need to be around for this, because I am all about a good, let's have a couple of alcoholic beverages and then see where things go from here.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that. We're over 800 members on Discord, like 820. I said when we get to 1,000, I will spend a whole day just hanging out there doing all sorts of stuff, and probably getting drunk and just ranting about Digibro, getting drunk and ranting about other stuff. So that's going to be crazy. Animac After Dark. And,
ooh,
you know,
Animac all day. Can't get enough of your love.
And Hunter Valley says, we are weebs and we are proud of it. And it's like the whole thing between weeb and otaku and anime fan, it's an interesting thing, because some people, everyone has a different idea of what one of them means. But in the end, we're all fans, right? And I don't know anyone who's disrespectful of Japanese culture in terms of what a weeb actually is. Someone who, you know, doesn't know anything about Japanese culture but pretends to be Japanese. I don't know. None of the fans, anime fans that I know, are like that. It's almost like, you know, maybe some people are like that, but I don't know them. People who don't care enough to learn about Japan but pretend to be Japanese and disrespect the culture. I don't know that. I don't know people like that. I know people who take Japanese martial arts because they respect the culture, because they want to know more about the culture. They like to watch anime and learn more about the culture and stuff like that in a respectful way. That's the kind of anime fans that I've been around. So I don't know this myth of these like crazy disrespectful people. I haven't faced it, and so I don't think that's a huge problem at all, personally.
Yeah, like a decade. I remember like a little over a decade ago, that was a big thing. Like, it would be very uncommon to not hear someone use kawaii, you know, and so forth. They use random Japanese words in a sentence. I mean, you get some people that get fanatic about it but don't really go through the follow through. But I don't know if there's any real malicious intent behind it. But I mean, that's the thing is, you know, a really interesting fact is otaku. The definition of what an otaku is constantly changing, because what defines it is changing as well. You know, it's so interesting, because obviously nothing stays the same for time wise. So I mean, that's just it. Certain labels will always stick around, but what really defines them is continuously being reevaluated. So.
Yeah, and Ryan says, Animac After Dark is the best. And we're just getting started, Ryan. Animac After Dark is just getting started. Also, a lovely tsundere says that she or he is so proud of anime and liking anime that she or he plays ecchi anime and then opens the windows so that everyone can see the etchiness in all its glory. And see, that's a true fan right there. Just proud, jiggle physics, deal with it, neighborhood.
Living the dream. Deal with it. Good neighbor, might I partake in some of the anime you are watching on the television screen. Absolutely. Why not? Don't mind if I do.
Have you guys ever had people tell you what you find animated girls attractive? Have you had that comment? Sana?
I don't think I've actually ever really said anything.
No, but
that would ever result in that conversation. Because yeah, it's like, I mean, from more of my casual anime fans to people who aren't anime fans, never really bring up anime that much outside of it or go in that deep. Because I always feel things out beforehand. So, but most people, if I usually talk about waifus, just people are like, oh, whatever, I got one too. So I can't actually say I've ever encountered that.
No, but like what I find interesting is that there are people who are like, man, how do you find anime girls attractive?
I've seen that, but I've never been able to converse with them before because I really would like to, because that intrigues me.
Because it's funny, because do you know that your grandparents all looked at pinup girls, animated pinup girls? That's the only pornographic material they could get their hands on. And so, if anything, you know, anime fans are going back to the basics, man.
Back to where it began. We're bringing it back around, which means eventually Chris Cross is going to come back in. So you best put your pants on backwards now.
Oh, man, is that a 90s reference?
That is a 90s reference.
Yeah, I thought it would be 90s, but yeah. So,
well done.
Fantasy worlds. Guys, in the chat, can you help me out with some fantasy worlds with beautiful women? We've had a few.
Oh, you're still thinking about that, man?
I am, man. I want more. Magi is pretty good, but it's not like, doesn't stand out. Fairy Tail good.
Doesn't stand out, that's true.
Sword Art Online is really kind of sci-fi, so I would prefer it to be a world where, you know, someone's not using someone else's avatar. It's like, you know, whether it's a girl or a dude or whatever.
Well, you know, that did actually happen in the Toge, where this guy, his first crush, was like, oh, by the way, I'm actually a dude. He was like, da-dong! He couldn't even believe it. Crushed him entirely. So then he started dating someone else who was a crazy chick. And life teaches you, you don't stick your dick in crazy ever. But he was just like, whatever, I got to get me some of this. So, no, it's...
Yeah, I've heard that saying before. Someone said,
I know this for a fact. My friend used to date crazy girls. So yeah, don't surround yourself with crazy. Crazy is not healthy.
I've dated some crazy girls too in the past.
Oh my condolences.
It's crazy. It wasn't for long, but crazy. Wasn't for long for a reason. But Dark Knight Sonata says Dog Days, and I haven't seen Dog Days. Is that a fantasy anime?
Dog Days is fantasy, very moe-ish. It's interesting. Nothing really happens. You mainly watching it for the cute characters and for the voice acting work. But yeah, it's a fantasy show.
Okay, well, Anbu, I think, hit the nail on the head right now. Anbu said High School of the Dead. And yeah, that's what I was looking for, like an anime that's just like a bunch of hot, beautiful women where you're just like, damn, and that's it, Ambu, you got it, man.
Man, oh, but dude, rest in peace, author of High School of the Dead. He died not too long ago.
Yeah, I had it in my news video, and yeah, very sad, very, very sad. But he will be remembered, and those characters will be remembered.
They will be. We will always remember the scene of when the main character shot that anti-tank rifle or whatever type of rifle, I don't know guns, so leave me alone, on the chest of that other chick, and her boobs bounced all over the place. Never forget. Yeah.
Dark Knight says that Dog Days has cat girls and dog girls. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not that into, like, the whole Neko stuff. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not like, you know, I just like attractive women of all types. I'm down. And someone else, Devil the Rebel says, kiss him, not me, but for girls. And yeah, I'll take your word for it. No idea. I think Tony watched that show or something.
Which one?
Kiss Him, Not Me. It's
Ah,
one of those
yes.
shows for the
Just
ladies.
recently came out about a girl who was a fujoshi, but then she ended up losing a bunch of weight because she was, I think, like binging on something, like a show or something, and then all of a sudden she was really beautiful. So.
Oh, and by the way, Justin Law says, a fantasy world where all the gorgeous girls are traps. And no. Omega says Keijo. That's not really a fantasy, but would I live in the Keijo world? Yes, I would. Indeed.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't want my face to be crushed by somebody's butt.
Well, that's because you're a coward. You can't handle it.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like I don't want my neck to be broken, okay?
Yeah, well, you know what? Some of us are real men, and some of us are afraid.
Yes, I will openly admit I'm afraid.
Hey, Cyanide, I don't think you're ready for this jelly, man.
No, I am not ready for this jelly. Jeez.
Bryn is talking. Bryn just jumped in the chat as soon as Kiss Him, Not Me was mentioned. Oh, Bryn.
We should have brought that up
if
sooner.
Bryn was here, we would have been maybe talking about these fantasies for girls, but because it's just me and my boy Cyanide, we're talking about the ladies.
Talking about the ladies, talking about boobs jiggling everywhere. God, I can only imagine the pain. Just wear a damn bra, seriously. Ouch, so painful. Why?
Sassy Simone says Yuri on Ice World, and only if that red-headed Russian figure skater lady and me can figure skate together. Dark Knight says the best fantasy world is filled with Nekos, and yeah, to each his own, my friend.
Dive right into that.
And of course, No Game No Life has a species that are just a bunch of Nekos as well. So they got you covered. They got like 18 different fantasy type races, elves and Nekos and all sorts of angel demon style, all stuff rolled into one.
You know, it's like, yeah, hey, whatever your fetish might be, whoa, take your pick.
Yeah, Sassy Simone says Mila. Yeah, I think that's her name. I haven't watched the show, but I noticed her.
Never forget.
Any other cool fantasy worlds or fantasies that you have that are, as long as they're safe for work, let me know in the chat, and then we will slowly wrap up this stream so that I can bathe in all the money that we got from Devil the Rebel, A Lovely Tsundere, and from Hunter Valley. Thank you again, guys. That was crazy. It was awesome. And I will make sure that your investment goes a long way. I will keep going with this channel until we take over the world and impose our unique brand of not a cult type anime rule.
Well, my good man, I'm actually glad that you brought up winding down. Is while this season has been winding down, we are winding up for the spring 2017 season. And of course, we'd be remiss to not mention some fantasy shows that are coming out. I actually picked 3 of them that I was curious about, and I thought I would drop the bomb on that. Is It Wrong to Try Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon has got a side story that is coming out. Yes, that is right. We got something that's going to be focusing on the favorite blonde-haired chick that the main guy is trying to pick up. I can't remember names, but I remember the characters. Eyes, I believe, was her name. Sword Oratoria, I believe. That's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Looks to be sort of like a side continuation, same part of the world. But, Annie Mac, we got 4 girls that are on the cover poster. 2 of them are tanned girls. What? Yes.
Oh, nice. Can you link me? Can you link me?
I will link you the image. Yes, I will.
Everybody knows my love for Valletta from Code Geass. I don't think we should be discriminating based on the color of skin. Beautiful women are beautiful, whether tanned or not. So
Absolutely.
More tan ladies. Yeah, so definitely link me that, my bro.
Oh, I'll link it to you right now, so you got it. And while I've set that up too, there's also several light novel to anime adaptations. First one is actually one that I'm curious. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's called Akashic Records of a Bastard Magic Instructor. Earlier, I talked about anti-heroes. And of course, Solmaka mentioned Bastard, so I had to bring that up, as well as Orphan. Well, this is sort of a return to that, not to the same degree though, but nonetheless, sort of the anti-hero character. Guy is lazy, procrastinates, doesn't want to do anything. It becomes a professor of this. We have the stuck-up, very tsundere-ish female student character that's involved in it, as well as a sweet girl that accompanies. It's cliche elements here and there, but it uses a few of them with a twist. There is a manga that is currently being translated right now of it. I'm curious to see how the anime is handled. Maybe that'll be enjoyable. I'm not expecting anything legendary, but it definitely should be enjoyable. Much in the same way of Grimoire of Zero. I'm actually really excited about this one because the artist Yoshinori Shizuma, best known for their work on artistry work on Kantai Collection, is the artist for this fantasy series. And since, you know, we had a member of the illustrious Rant Café chat here talk about Nekos, they'd be pleased to know that there is a beast man in this series. Half man, half beast, like tiger, lion, such and whatnot. Demi-human, essentially. So very, very excited to see this. Very strong fantasy-driven, so should be really good because it's being adapted by White Fox. I hope. I'm crossing my fingers because if not, I'm just going to sigh. But yeah. We got some fantasy shows that are coming. Few I'm excited for. I'm watching a few more as well, but I'm not going to talk about those. But those are some I'm going to watch on the side to see how they are.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And Autumn Hamilton says he's Team High School DxD. A lot of people like the High School DxD choice for living in a fantasy world. So that is very cool. And yeah, people are saying Bryn is calling me out in the chat. Well, at least she can't mute me in the chat, you guys. So yeah. But no, that was pretty funny last time. But you can't stay mad at Bryn. You can't.
Can't. Bryn is fantastic. By the way, she has a new video out. She's taking a poll on which series she should talk about for the season, where she will do, I believe, an episode-by-episode breakdown talking about it. So definitely give that a shot. And I'm actually not watching the new Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon show for my season of First Impressions. I'm doing something very different with this season of First Impressions. My apologies, but I think you will like what I've got coming. So it's going to be good stuff.
Yep, absolutely. And someone had said something else in here. Now I forget.
My apologies. I went on for
But no, it's not your fault. It's I lost my train of thought. But at any rate, I guess we are in conclusion that we all have some fantasies about anime. That there's going to be a lot of fantasy anime out there. There's some good. There's many not so good, but we'll figure things out. And yeah, definitely, guys, check out Bryn's channel and check Bryn's fandoms. She voted in the poll. Check out her channel, and we're waiting for some fun videos from her that I know are in the works. So we are all waiting for that. I'm not gonna say anything because they're top secret videos. Top secret videos. Oh, someone said. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Power Maximum said Team Daiguren. Daiguren Dan, yes, baby. I don't know why you said it. I don't care. Anytime someone says Team Daiguren, they make my day, baby. Woo! And I think, Cyanide, if you agree, I think we can wrap this up. I just want to thank you guys again for bearing with us with the technical difficulties. If you weren't here at the beginning, we actually had this linked to another link, and then that link didn't work, so we had to switch to a link and then tell everyone, oh, it's a different link now, the other one doesn't work. Like, we couldn't launch the stream at all, so it was crazy, but you guys stuck with us. It was a great time. We got a bunch of donations from you lovely people. Devil the Rebel, lovely Tsundere, and Hunter Valley. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. Surprising, but definitely super, super cool. And we're going to continue the discussion, I believe, Table Coon, on the Discord, are we not?
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for putting up with my rambling. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and by the way, also Cyanide Blizzard has a great YouTube channel as well. A link in the description. Be sure to check him out. I was a guest on his most recent video. Rant Café was a guest. The members of Rant Café. It was a great time. I did not get muted by Bryn in that one. I am mad though. But yeah, definitely check that out. Definitely link for the Discord is in the description if you want to join us. We're gonna chat a bit now, and then I gotta get to that Ghost in the Shell video. I want to put that out tonight sometime. But yeah, for sure, pleasure again. Thank you for sticking with us, being here in the chat. And until next time, guys, see ya. Space Cowboys.
Bang.